Well, hello there. Um, First of all, I must say this is gonna be tricky for me because as an overthinker, living as you can see in not best living conditions, it is tough for me to stay focused. It is tough for me to keep stuff short. So now that I do have your attention, I would like to keep your attention for a little bit longer. So please stick with me. The reason why I started this channel, even before I started it, which was around 15th of August 2022, was simply because I saw too much division, hate, censorship, and toxicity in general all over the world, seeping into business, private, intimate, and other relationships. The most obvious lately are the ones where generations are being pitted against each other on multiple separate agendas, whether it's climate, whether it's gender ideology, whether it's racism, whether it's politics, religion, immigration, whatever it is. All these subjects obviously are polarizing. We are being polarized. Now, fact is, we all have certain beliefs, certain opinions, certain experiences, mindsets, perceptions, and so on. What personally really bothered me and started to bother me long before 2020 was the general cancel culture. So it was everything revolving the politics at the time around Trump, around left, right, blue, red, so blue pill, red pill, all of these things. Then sexism, all of these things were suddenly all up in the front, which to me, at the beginning, it all sounded great because at the end of the day, a lot of people stood up for what they believe in. And that's great. I really support that by all means. But I started to notice the psychological manipulation that was happening to all of us. Speaking for myself, as someone who considered himself a leftist, I noticed on myself, I started to kind of, I must use the word hate the idiots, the degenerates, the whatnot. I was sucked into this mentality of division, hatred, and shutting people off, shutting people down whenever there was a point that we could not communicate anymore. It's not about the fact that I disagreed with them, because personally, I come from the era where we didn't have so much access to information as we do now. And I can see with younger generations that it's much more difficult to really check your own facts before speaking up your mind. Now, that's okay. Speak up your mind. Please do. That's what freedom of speech is about: the ability to get it wrong, be corrected, and learn. As I've tried to explain in those previous videos of mine, we're not here gonna achieve anything useful, fruitful, and going forward into the future if we're gonna keep trolling each other. It's fun, sometimes a little bit of banter, like harmless jokes, really don't hurt. For example, there were a few comments I could address in a very serious tone. Trolling is childish, and it really doesn't bother me. Not anymore. So, my intentions here with this channel from the beginning were to talk about subjects that other people don't dare to speak about, and whether I'm right or wrong, that was not the point. It was here to open the can of worms, poke the bear, poke the hornet's nest, and also disrupt the whole agenda based system. Now, there are multiple agendas within the system that keep us divided and keep us pitted against each other. While all these people are rich on behalf of us fighting each other. I will, in other videos and segmented per subjects, per topics, go in deeper into this, into the financial structures, into the political structures, how they are all combined together, military complex, all of these things. To many who will watch this, it will probably seem like another channel filled with conspiracies and theories, but I assure you, everything I talk is thoroughly checked, not just by me, but multiple experts from different fields, whether it's neuroscience, whether it's intelligence, whether it's military, whether it's politics. I always do a lot of due diligence. Personally, I don't like to be opinionated. And knowing the facts in this world is really difficult. But since I have been trained for many years and I am an expert in information technology, telecommunications, and IT systems, means that it's almost like being a hacker. But I don't need to do anything illegal to find what really proves what I say and what other people say. So this was my intention with the channel, to start what other people call the awakening process. And the awakening process is not something related just to the spiritual world or just to red pilling with information and just to speaking what I believe to be true and what I stand for. It's also a share and exchange of our opinions, beliefs, and experiences. I'm approaching this very holistically. I've never separated myself from the rest of the society based on what nationality I am, what beliefs do I have, how I was raised. None of that limited me in interacting with any of yourselves. Maybe I've always been different that way and I like it that way. Because if I wasn't this way, I wouldn't get your attention. It was not even predicted. I didn't know this was going to happen, but I'm extremely grateful it did. It's really beautiful. I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for um, to cause any problems, although clearly that will always happen. But I'm definitely here to open up the discussion and start connecting all of us together, not just on the basis of the like mindset, but I also want the people who are different, who are totally opposing any certain views here, to know that as long as we remain respectful to each other, we are open to discuss. I am open to discuss. Of course, now, the channel, as it turned out, due to my personal story, is mixed a little bit also with my personal experience. I'm trying to talk a little bit also about myself and what happened to me because, again, a part of the societal structure has become very evident. Men are forgotten. Men are mocked, belittled, and most of us suddenly have adopted a stance of getting out of the way. And it doesn't mean getting out of the way of a healthy relationship. It doesn't mean getting out of the way of doing what we can to be better and improve the quality of life for ourselves, and that means for everyone else too. Most of us men are not lazy. We're trying to find better ways to work smarter because we keep working really hard all our lives. And now I'm not here only to talk for men and about men, and definitely not to talk against women. I don't like the negative talk. Now, many negative things did happen, and it's hard to not talk about them and describe them the way they happened without sounding it is a negative thing. The point here is I am here to talk about my story, my own mistakes and reactions that I made, and lessons learned. Of course, I do appreciate that many things might trigger a lot of people, and I do apologize if that happened. It is not my intention to upset you. But also, at the same time, I would appreciate that if I did that, explain yourself why you feel that way, where does it come from? Because at the end of the day, ultimately, I'd like to at least understand you. And if I can, in any way, that we can help each other. That's what all my dynamic and the channel is really about. Given that I am also quite an idealist, I have also started certain projects in the past, but again, because of my survival issues, those have been really slowed down, but not stopped and not dropped. There were many ideas that I had in the past, very much related to the same thing I'm doing now, but I dropped them because of the lack of confidence and also, like I explained earlier here, a lot of hatred in the world. And my biggest mistake, and here I have to apologize to my generations, the generations before, younger generations, my own children, and everyone else. I've been quiet, very self centered for many years. And now, those of you who are sticking to this point of the video, thank you. And thanks for paying the attention because that's really important. This is not going to be a short attention span and validation seeking channel. I want this to be real and I want this to be focused on the truth. That's why I'm also doing this with very minimum resources, technical abilities at the moment. One broken laptop, one old iPhone, which discharges really quick. I'm doing live streams for the most part because it's easier. It consumes much less of my time and effort, even though I have a lot of abilities and skills to edit and produce the content on a very good quality level. It's not my point. Whether I will monetize any of this or not, it's still a big question. I wish to, because I still have to pay my own bills and I have to do my own life too. And given how hard today it is to find jobs in the industry where I worked or with the skills that I have, and that's purely because the AI is definitely taking over the market very quickly. not just because of my age and because of my CV, which is not bad, it's just too much. All of those things are some also part of my projects that I'm working on, where we can share skills, we can share the knowledge and build our own sources of income and ways of living, not just surviving, but living. I have a lot to offer, I have a lot to give. So, with those projects, which I will slowly drip over the content here as well, the Discord channel is already open for the people who want to join, help, and see what all of that is about. It's free to join, and it will always stay free to join. It might not always stay on Discord. That I cannot promise, because I like to own my data. I like privacy. I like security as much as technically possible. I will try to set up infrastructure that is managed and owned by me personally and very transparent to all of the community so that you all know I'm not the one peering into what any of you guys are talking between each other. Even if I could, I wouldn't do that. So, to conclude this, there's going to be a lot of different subjects, a lot of different topics discussed. I'd like that to remain respectful. I'd like that to remain to be focused on the importance of having freedom to express ourselves about anything we like or dislike and see what is common to us and focus on the solutions. Because if we really want to prevent another third world war and destruction of the humanity as itself, we still have that opportunity. There's still a lot we can all do. But we're not going to achieve it by wasting our energy and our time on reading the headlines and reacting to them like little entitled children. And this refers to everyone, adults and the youngs alike. So, those of you who are fed up with the fighting, anger, and the hate, please welcome to join me. The rest of you who wish to continue to be the flying monkeys of the toxic, abusive, narcissistic, old school society that has driven all of us over this edge and awakened even the most sleeping and the silent ones into action, which is sometimes just as simple as recording videos and telling you all what we really think about it. Times are changing for the good and for the bad. But how this is really going to turn out is all up to us, every single one of us. And I've been taking action for myself in the silent background more than 20 years ago. I will explain more about that stuff. I've foreseen the future from, from before the 9/11, 2001, and it was bleak, it was dark, and it was scary. Now that I actually live in the middle of what I've seen, I realized it took me too long to get the courage to speak up. So now I apologize for being such a slacker to everyone, and I'm catching up with this. Stick around, stay tuned. Drop yourselves in the comments. Tell me what you think and what you would also like to hear. Because I know many of you think and feel a lot like me, but don't have the courage to speak. Let me know. What would you like to hear? I have all the courage to speak. My feelings don't get hurt easily at all. And if they do, you'd probably have to be married to me. I love you all. Thank you for all the subscriptions, likes, comments, and responses. Amazing people, amazing society. That's why I'm doing this. No other reason, no selfish reasons other than loving you all and making sure we do this together. Ciao.